Hey there. That fatigue that just won't quit? Or that forgetfulness you just brush off as, oh, it's just age? Well, guess what? Did you know that could be your body screaming for help? A desperate plea we often miss, like a silent alarm only you can hear? Many people ignore it, but after 50, certain signs aren't just old age creeping in. They are huge warning lights flashing on your life's dashboard. So, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you now could be the key for you to act before it's too late. What's up, everyone? Hitting 50, 60, 70? How awesome is that, right? It's an absolute achievement. We gather so much experience, so much wisdom, and hopefully, a ton of crazy stories to tell. And speaking of telling, let me know in the comments what country or city you're watching from. We love to know how far our message reaches. Alright, back to what matters. Along with the celebrations and new chapters, our bodies and minds also undergo a total shift. And that, my friend, is where a monstrous danger can lurk. One that many people don't even pay attention to. You know that saying, age comes for everyone? Pure truth. But hey, there's a thin, almost invisible line between normal age-related changes and those signs that something very serious is happening behind the scenes of our health, like a hidden electrical problem in the wall that could cause a fire. It's super common to hear, or even tell ourselves, that a little ache here, some tiredness there, a few memory lapses are just part of aging, right? We end up thinking these discomforts are normal, as if they're part of the maturity package. But what if I told you that treating all of this as normal could be a giant trap? Many health problems that explode with full force later on could have been prevented, or at least treated much more easily, if those initial little cries from the body had been heard and understood at the right time. Ignoring these warnings is like driving a car with that little red light flashing madly on the dashboard. Get it? At first, we think, oh, I can drive a little longer. But over time, this small oversight can turn into a huge mechanical problem, one of those super expensive ones that leave you stranded. And when it comes to our health, the consequences can wreck our quality of life, our independence, and even the good years we still have ahead of us. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, if only I had known sooner? Exactly. This video is precisely about that, about knowing sooner, about understanding what your body is trying to tell you. The idea here isn't to scare anyone, not at all. It's to empower you, to get you prepared, like a map showing you where the potholes are on the road. Because information is everything, especially when it comes to our health. After 50, healthcare needs to be doubled. Those who already take care of themselves need to step it up. And for those who've been a bit lax with their health, look, you need to rethink your habits ASAP. Here, we're going to uncover 3 major groups of signs, both physical and mental, that your body might be sending, showing that your health after 50 needs special attention, urgent attention, really. These are true cries for help that, if we listen, can be game changers in our life story. We'll take a close look at each one, understand what they mean, and most importantly, what can be done. So, if you really want to be in the know about what these signs are and, more importantly, how you can act, watch this video until the end. The information you'll find here could be decisive for your health. Get ready, because the truth these signs bring is crucial. Sign 1. Silent cardiovascular and metabolic alerts. The first major warning sign your body might be putting out, often very subtly, without making a sound, has to do with your heart and your metabolism. Heart disease is the biggest cause of death worldwide. Did you know? More than all types of cancer combined. And the chance of having these problems increases a lot after 50. It's a scary statistic, but we need to face it. Over time, our arteries, which should be like flexible garden hoses, can become harder and stiffer, like old dried-out hoses, making it difficult for blood to pass through. And blood pressure can start to rise, often without us even noticing right away. So, what are these whispers, or rather these muffled cries that you need to learn to listen for? Keep an eye out for unexplained fatigue that just doesn't go away. It's not the normal tiredness from a busy day. No. It's an exhaustion that drags on, as if your internal battery is always in the red, desperately flashing for a recharge that never truly comes. Headaches that appear frequently, which you didn't have before, can also be a sign. And those dizzy spells that pop up out of nowhere now and then? Pay full attention. Often these symptoms are the first signs of high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. It's treacherous, working in the shadows like a termite in wood. You only notice the damage when the structure is already compromised, but over time it opens the door to very serious problems, like heart attacks and strokes. And for women, attention needs to be doubled, okay? Especially after menopause. The drop in estrogen during this phase not only contributes to weight gain, but also reduces that natural protection, as if the heart's personal bodyguard takes an extended vacation, leaving it more vulnerable. Statistics show that the risk of heart disease in women skyrockets after menopause, causing many deaths. And here's an important warning. Heart problem symptoms in women can be very different from the classic ones we see in men. Instead of that strong chest pain radiating to the arm, women might feel pain in the pit of their stomach, shortness of breath for no apparent reason, fatigue that makes no sense, general malaise, nausea, palpitations, neck or jaw pain, and even something similar to indigestion. It's like expecting a loud fire alarm. But for women, sometimes the warning is more subtle, like a strange smell of smoke that's hard to trace, and then it takes longer to discover and treat the problem. Along with heart alerts come signs from our metabolism, which also changes a lot with age. It's a given. Metabolism slows down as we get older. Think of your metabolism as a fireplace. In youth, it burns wood, calories, at full blast, with high flames. As the years go by, this fireplace gets weaker, burning wood much more slowly, just with embers. This means the body burns calories slower, making it easier to gain weight and, believe me, much harder to lose it. Unexplained weight gain, especially that fat that gathers around the belly, the infamous pot belly or spare tire, is a warning sign to watch out for. This belly fat isn't just cosmetic. It's like a noisy, problematic neighbor who moves in and starts causing trouble for the entire health condominium, being directly linked to a host of health problems, like insulin resistance, which can lead to type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and altered cholesterol. Other signs that your metabolism might be crying uncle are changes in appetite, either more or less, and fatigue that seems endless, even if your routine checkups are all okay. Hormonal changes, especially during menopause for women, also fuel this, making it easier to accumulate fat. Guess where? In the belly, of course. So, what can these heart and metabolism signs mean? They could be a warning of serious problems like established high blood pressure, a higher risk of heart attack, stroke, the infamous CVA, type 2 diabetes, and the notorious metabolic syndrome, which is like a gang of metabolic villains, each with a different trick, teaming up to wreck your heart health. So, what to do? The magic words are prevention and attention. Keeping your heart checkups up to date is super important, always checking your blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose. Eating a balanced diet with plenty of fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and going easy on processed foods, bad fats, and sugar makes an absurd difference. Exercising regularly isn't just to stay in shape, it's to protect your heart and keep your metabolism humming like a well-oiled engine. And of course, managing your weight, avoiding cigarettes, and drinking in moderation are essential steps. If you notice any of these symptoms, persistent fatigue, strange headaches, dizziness, rapid belly fat gain, shortness of breath for no reason, don't think twice. See a doctor. An honest conversation and some tests can be the start to ensuring your heart and metabolism stay strong and healthy by your side for many, many years. Sign 2. Bone and muscle wear and tear that whispers dangers and screams with chronic pain. The second group of signs your body might be sending after 50, needing your attention ASAP, relates to bone and muscle wear and tear. And often, this comes with a scream that won't shut up and is extremely bothersome. Chronic pain. Just like a car engine that runs and runs and needs maintenance, our skeleton and muscles also wear down over time. It's normal. Bone density and muscle mass gradually decrease with age, and some things can even accelerate this process. Let's start with the bones. Osteoporosis is something we need to talk seriously about. It happens when the internal structure of the bone, which once looked like a dense, strong honeycomb, starts to develop larger holes, looking more like an old sponge. Light, yes, but super fragile, like an ice cream cone ready to break at the slightest touch. It affects more women, especially after menopause, due to the drop in estrogen, that hormone that helps keep bones strong. But hey, men aren't immune to it either. The danger of osteoporosis is that it's silent at first, like a thief who enters your house without making a sound, and only when you look for something valuable do you realize you've been robbed. In this case, the strength of your bones. Often, the first sign, unfortunately, is already a fracture, which can happen after a silly fall, or, in more serious cases, even out of nowhere, without any strong impact. Just imagine how fragile. Sometimes the bone is so weak it breaks, even before the person falls. And what are the warning signs for your bone and muscle health? Gradually losing height over time can be one. That story about shrinking with age can be true, yes. Imagine the little cushions between your vertebrae losing some of their filling, like an inflatable mattress, slowly deflating, causing the spine to compact. Unexplained back pain, the kind that doesn't get better, even with rest, also deserves a look. And as I've said, breaking a bone very easily after a mere bump is a huge red flag. Also, if you notice you have less strength and less stamina, it could be muscle loss, known as sarcopenia. If bones are the walls of your house, muscles are the foundation and support beams. If both weaken, the entire house becomes wobbly and at risk of collapse, and sarcopenia often comes together with osteoporosis and increases the risk of falls and becoming more fragile. Now let's talk about chronic pain. Get this. Almost 37% of people over 50 suffer from chronic pain. That's a lot of people, and it's seriously worrying. Chronic pain is the kind that sticks to you and won't let go, like an annoying song stuck in your head on repeat, day and night, severely disrupting a person's life, mood, and energy. It lasts for more than 3 months, or longer than expected for an injury to heal. It can have various causes, but it's often linked to bone and muscle problems like arthritis, which is joint wear and tear like a rusty hinge, back pain, fibromyalgia, and so on. And chronic pain isn't just a bad physical sensation. It can bring along a whole lot of things: difficulty sleeping, poor sleep, constant tiredness, weakness, and even mood changes like irritability and sadness. Living with pain. Every single day is exhausting. It's like trying to run a marathon carrying an anvil on your back. It drains your body and saps your mental strength. What can this bone and muscle wear and tear, and this pain that doesn't go away mean? Certainly, a higher risk of osteoporosis and sarcopenia, and this increases the chance of falls, fractures, especially hip, spine, and wrist, hospitalization, and loss of independence. A hip fracture, for example, can ruin an older person's life, often leading to complicated surgeries, a long recovery, and great difficulty getting back to daily activities. Chronic pain, on the other hand, can destroy your freedom of movement, your social life, and your joy of living, leaving you isolated and in a vicious cycle of inactivity and worsening pain, like quicksand. What to do when these signs appear? Prevention is always better and starts early, but it's never too late to start taking care of yourself. For bone and muscle health, regular exercise is fundamental. Weight-bearing exercises, like walking, light jogging, dancing, are like giving small, good impacts to your bones, signaling them, hey, we need to get stronger. And muscle-strengthening exercises, like weightlifting, Pilates, are like building a protective armor around these bones, helping to maintain and even increase bone density and muscle mass. Eating foods rich in calcium and vitamin D is essential. Think of calcium as the bricks to build a strong wall, and vitamin D as the smart builder who knows how to use those bricks best so the wall doesn't fall. Calcium in milk and dairy, dark green vegetables, tofu, vitamin D from moderate sun exposure in food, or supplements if needed. Quitting smoking and drinking less is also very important because these habits wreck bone health like rust attacking metal. Tests like bone densitometry help detect osteoporosis right at the beginning, so treatment can start to slow down bone loss and reduce the risk of fractures. If you have pain that doesn't go away, don't accept it as just part of aging. No. See a doctor. There are various ways to manage chronic pain: physical therapy, the right medications, alternative therapies, and lifestyle changes that can alleviate suffering and help you do things much better. Remember, your bones and muscles are what keep you upright. Taking care of them is investing in your freedom and your chance to enjoy life to the fullest. Sign 3. Mental fog and emotional shadows. When the mind cries for help. The third major group of alerts your body, and here, mainly your mind, might be sending after 50 has to do with your mental, emotional well-being and your cognitive ability. Often, we don't pay much attention to these signs, do we? We sweep them under the rug, blame daily stress, or, again, say, it's normal for this age. But some changes deserve big time, a closer look, because they could be the start of problems needing serious treatment and monitoring. Let's start with emotional shadows. Depression, for example, can appear more in older people, but not always with that overt sadness we see in younger individuals. Instead, depression in seniors might show up as if someone turned down the volume on all their passions and joys, leaving everything gray and dull, and the energy for life seems to have leaked out through an invisible hole. An absolute lack of motivation to do daily tasks, a loss of interest in things that once brought pleasure, or a fatigue that goes far beyond the physical. Anxiety is also a concern. A new and important piece of data is that those diagnosed with anxiety after 50 may have a much higher risk, up to double, of developing Parkinson's later on. Hold on, this doesn't mean everyone with anxiety will get Parkinson's. Not at all. But it shows how important it is not to ignore anxiety that appears or worsens at this age, like a small earth tremor that might precede something bigger, sleep problems that don't go away, and constant fatigue can also be related to both depression and anxiety. Stress that doesn't go away, so-called chronic stress, is another silent enemy. In older people, it can manifest more discreetly, like the person becoming quieter, more isolated, losing interest in things, changes in appetite, eating too much or too little, and sleeping poorly. Chronic stress is like a small, constant leak in a boat. At first, you barely notice it, but if you don't fix it, it gradually fills the boat and can sink your entire health, especially your immune system, which gets overwhelmed trying to bail water all the time, making us more susceptible to infections and diseases, and even worsening existing problems like high blood pressure and diabetes. Furthermore, it can cause physical symptoms with no medical explanation, like tension headaches, stomach and intestinal problems. Now, let's talk about mental fog. Changes in our ability to think. It's normal, with age, to draw a blank now and then, like forgetting where you left your keys or the name of someone you haven't seen in ages. It's as if the mental file takes a little longer to open. This is part of aging and often has more to do with lack of attention or too much on your mind. However, there are memory and thinking problems that go beyond this benign forgetfulness, which are like your mind's computer starting to crash constantly, corrupting important files, or no longer being able to run the programs you've always used. And this can be a warning for more serious things, like early-onset Alzheimer's, which is rarer but can show its first signs starting from age 50. What are these concerning mental signs? Increasing difficulty doing everyday tasks that used to be a breeze, like managing money, following a familiar recipe, or navigating a route you've taken 1,000 times. It's as if the mental map you've always used for these tasks starts to become all blurry and unreadable. Problems. Communicating, like great difficulty finding the right words or using the wrong words, are also a warning. It's as if words are playing hide and seek in your mind, and you can't find them at all, or you find one. But it's the wrong one, like trying to open a door with your neighbor's key. Changes in how we perceive things, like difficulty understanding what you see or hear, can also happen. Other signs include a significant loss of ability to concentrate and to judge things, which can lead to making wrong decisions or doing dangerous things. Forgetting things you've just learned all the time, like important dates or what happened yesterday, and asking the same thing over and over, are things that show this forgetfulness isn't the normal kind. If a person starts getting lost in places they know well, or forgetting the names of family members, then it's definitely not normal. What can this mental fog and these emotional shadows mean? They could be signs of problems like more severe depression or anxiety disorders that need proper treatment to improve life and prevent worsening. They might show that chronic stress is destroying physical and mental health, and what's most worrying, they could be the first signs of diseases that attack the brain, like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or other types of dementia. Apathy, which is that lack of will and interest in everything, as if your main motivation switch has been turned off, leaving everything in darkness, is also common in many of these diseases and can even be mistaken for depression. And what to do? The first and most important thing is, don't assume it's normal if your mood changes drastically, or if your thinking ability or memory suddenly worsens. If you or someone close to you notices changes that don't go away and are worrying, see a doctor. An evaluation with a psychologist and neurologist can help discover what's causing these symptoms and the best course of action. Keeping your mind active with reading, learning new things, games that make us think, is like taking your brain to the gym. The more you exercise it with challenges, the stronger and more agile it becomes. And having friends and a social life helps protect the brain. Managing stress with relaxation techniques, meditation, hobbies, or physical exercise is also super important. And of course, an overall healthy lifestyle, eating well, sleeping well, and exercising greatly helps the brain. Remember, your mental health is as important as your physical health. Caring for your mind is essential for aging well and with quality of life. So let's do a quick recap of the 3 major signs your body might be screaming about after 50 that deserve your urgent attention. 1. Silent cardiovascular and metabolic alerts. Watch out for persistent fatigue, battery always in the red, strange headaches, dizziness, weight gain especially around the belly, that troublesome neighbor, and for women, heart symptoms that aren't the classic ones, the subtle alarm. They can indicate problems like high blood pressure, heart attack risk, and diabetes. 2. Bone and muscle wear and tear, that whispers dangers and screams with chronic pain. Pay attention to height loss, deflating mattress, unexplained back pain, breaking bones easily, ice cream cone, and chronic pain that disrupts your life, annoying song that won't stop. Osteoporosis, muscle loss, and the burden of chronic pain need to be investigated. 3. Mental fog and emotional shadows. When the mind cries for help. Don't ignore major mood changes, like persistent lack of spirit, passions on mute, or excessive anxiety, nor thinking difficulties that go beyond normal forgetfulness, computer crashing, like trouble with tasks or finding words playing hide and seek. These could be signs of depression, anxiety, or even brain diseases. The main message here is very clear. Don't underestimate your body's signals. Aging brings changes, of course, but not every change is normal or trivial. Listening carefully to what your body and mind are trying to tell you, like a detective attentive to clues, and seeing a doctor when something seems off isn't weakness. It's a sign of wisdom and that you truly care for yourself. If this video brought you some awesome information and made you think a bit, smash that like button, come on. It really helps our channel reach more people who also need to know these things. And now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself or someone you know? Do you have any questions or want to share an experience? Leave your comment down below. When you participate, our community gets stronger, and you also help other people. And if you think this video can help friends and family who are also in this stage of life, share it with them. Passing on good information is a way to care for those we love. To avoid missing any more important tips on health and well-being after 50, subscribe to the channel here and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. That way, you'll always know when there's a new video out. Look, don't forget, your health is your greatest treasure, more valuable than any diamond. Recognizing these signs quickly and seeking medical help at the right time can change everything for your quality of life. This allows treatments to work better and gives you the chance to live your golden years with more health, vitality, and joy. Take good care of yourself. Listen to what your body says as if it were your best friend giving you advice. And don't be afraid to ask for help. The truth these signs reveal can be the first step towards a longer and healthier life. See you next time.